I'm 74 years old, and I've been growing flowers for 51 years. For the first 20 of those years, I planted what the catalogs called showstoppers. Peonies that bloomed for 2 weeks. Oriental poppies that disappeared by July. Delphiniums that required staking, deadheading, and constant fussing. My garden looked spectacular for maybe 6 weeks total, then turned into a sea of green leaves and regret. Then I discovered a purple coneflower variety that bloomed from June until October without a single minute of deadheading. And everything I thought I knew about perennials was wrong. Most gardeners waste money and effort on flowers that give you a brief moment of glory, then nothing. But there are perennials, specific varieties that nobody talks about, that will bloom for 4, 5, even 7 months straight with less work than those 2-week wonders ever required. I'm going to share 10 of them with you today, ranked from excellent to absolutely extraordinary. The plant at number 1 blooms from August through December. Yes, December. After 5 decades in the garden, my knees aren't what they were. But I still want beauty, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Long-blooming perennials gave me all of that with a fraction of the work. Number 10. Shasta Daisy 5 months of reliable white blooms. Shasta Daisy blooms from late May through September. That's 5 solid months. The variety Becky is what you want. It's heat-tolerant with stems strong enough that they don't flop over in summer storms, and the flowers are 3 to 4 inches across. I planted Becky 15 years ago in full afternoon sun. She's still there, blooming her heart out every summer. Here's what the nurseries won't tell you. If you cut them back by half in mid-July after the first flush finishes, you get a second complete wave of flowers in August and September. Plant them 18 inches apart in well-drained soil and full sun. Water deeply once a week the first summer, then leave them alone except during severe drought. Number 9. Purple coneflower 5 months with 0 deadheading. Purple coneflower blooms from June through October in my garden. 5 months. But here's the thing that took me a decade to understand. You don't deadhead these. Leaving the sped blooms is actually better because goldfinches eat the seeds all winter. The variety Magnus has flowers 4 to 5 inches across, massive compared to the species. These are native North American plants that handle heat, cold, humidity, and drought. I've got plants that get no supplemental water after the first year, and they bloom just as heavily. Don't judge them the first season. Give them 3 years to show you what they can really do. Number 8. Catmint 6 months of blue-purple clouds. Catmint Walker's low blooms from late April through October in my Zone 6 garden. That's 6 months. The plant forms a mound about 24 inches tall and 36 inches wide, covered in lavender blue flower spikes. Here's the simple maintenance. Cut it back by half in mid-July. That's it. 1 cut per year taking about 5 minutes. Fresh growth emerges within 2 weeks, and you get a completely new flush of flowers that lasts until frost. The aromatic foliage naturally repels many garden pests. I've planted catmint next to roses, and the roses get fewer aphids. Bees absolutely love it. Number 7. Blanket flower 5 months in terrible soil. Blanket flower blooms from June until hard frost, which means early November in my garden. That's 5 months of red, orange, and yellow flowers. The variety Arizona Sun is particularly good. Here's what makes blanket flower absolutely remarkable. It blooms better in poor soil. I learned this by accident. The ones in poor soil bloom twice as heavily. Rich soil makes them produce lush foliage and fewer flowers. They're native to North America, handle extreme heat, and are drought-tolerant once established. They're also naturally resistant to deer and rabbits. Number 6. Salvia 6 months of hummingbird heaven. Hardy Salvia May night blooms from May through October. 6 months of deep purple-blue flower spikes that hummingbirds visit dozens of times per day. Here's what took me years to learn. Trim lightly after the first flush of bloom in late June. Cut the sped flower spikes back to the foliage, and you'll get a second complete round of flowering in August and September. I planted May night Salvia 15 years ago. I've divided those original plants 3 times, creating dozens of new plants. They've never had a disease problem, never had insect damage, never failed to bloom. Number 5. Coreopsis 5 months of golden reliability. Threadleaf Coreopsis blooms from June through October without any deadheading required. 5 months of cheerful yellow flowers. The variety Moonbeam produces pale yellow. Zagreb produces bright golden yellow. Individual flowers are small, but produced in such abundance that the entire plant is covered in blooms. We're talking hundreds of flowers on a single plant simultaneously. Don't fertilize it. Don't amend the soil with rich compost. Plant it in ordinary or even lean soil and it'll bloom better. After about 5 years, divide them in spring to rejuvenate completely. Number 4. Verbena 7 months of ground-hugging color. Hardy Verbena Homestead purple blooms from May through November in my Zone 6 garden. 7 months. The plants grow only 6 to 8 inches tall but spread 24 to 36 inches wide, creating a carpet of deep purple flowers. This is a plant I ignored for years because it looked too delicate in the nursery pot. Then a friend gave me a division, and I planted it in a terrible spot just to see what would happen. It thrived. Verbena spreads by trailing stems that root where they touch the ground. I've planted it between stepping stones in my pathway. Butterflies love it, and because it blooms so late into fall, it provides nectar when many other flowers have finished. Number 3. Daylily 4 months of continuous color. Modern repeat blooming daylilies, specifically varieties like Stella Doro and Happy Returns, bloom from June through September with occasional flowers into October. For solid months. The key is choosing reblooming varieties. Regular daylilies bloom once and finish. Reblooming daylilies send up flower scapes repeatedly throughout the season. Check the plant tag. It should specifically say reblooming or repeat blooming. Daylilies are incredibly tough, handling drought, temporary flooding, and a wide range of soil types. Remove sped flower scapes after all buds have bloomed to redirect energy into producing new scapes. After about 8 years, divide them to rejuvenate completely. Number 2. Russian Sage 4 months of airy purple. Russian sage blooms from July through October. 4 months of lavender blue flowers held above silvery gray aromatic foliage. Plants grow 3 to 4 feet tall and equally wide. This is a plant for hot, dry locations. I've got Russian sage in full sun against a south-facing wall where temperatures regularly hit 95 degrees. It thrives. I haven't watered mine in 7 years. Cut it back hard in late winter to about 6 inches above ground. It seems brutal, but it's necessary. Bees absolutely love Russian sage flowers. From July through October, the plants hum with bee activity. Number 1. Mexican Net Marigold 5 months when nothing else blooms. Mexican Net Marigold blooms from August through December in my Zone 6 garden. 5 months. But here's what makes it absolutely extraordinary. It blooms when almost everything else is finished. The plant forms a bushy mound 24 to 36 inches tall and wide. The foliage smells like anise when crushed. Then in August, golden yellow flowers appear in such abundance that the entire plant is covered. And they keep coming until hard frost, which can be as late as early December. When other flowers are fading in September and October, Mexican mint marigold is at peak bloom. It provides nectar for late-season butterflies when food sources are scarce. I've watched migrating monarchs in October stop at this plant to refuel. The foliage is edible, and used as a substitute for French tarragon in cooking. The flowers are also edible. The plant is deer and rabbit resistant, and has never had a single pest or disease problem in 11 years. What I love most is the timing. When my garden is winding down for winter, this plant is covered in golden flowers. It extends the garden season by months. After 50 years of gardening, this is the plant that surprised me most. If you could only add one plant from this list, make it Mexican mint marigold. I'm 74 now. My back complains more than it used to, and I don't spend entire weekends in the garden anymore. But these 10 perennials give me months of color with minimal work. They're the plants I'd choose again if I had to start over tomorrow. Plant them once, give them basic care the first year, then step back and let them perform. That's the secret I wish I'd learned 40 years ago. If you found this helpful, subscribe to Smart Senior Gardeners for more wisdom from decades in the garden. We're building a community of gardeners who work smarter, not harder.